Well, by now you probably know we have these presets all over the place, and if you're like me, they're definitely a little bit confusing at first, but I think I found a way to make this nice and easy, a little bit more simplified, so when it comes to using this, you're not really struggling or getting confused. So when it comes to these presets, there's 6 different categories. We have our equipment, our pets, adventurer, legacies, and then mounts and artifacts. And as much as I like naming things silly names, just do me a favor on this. For your gear, go and label it whatever weapon you're using. So for me, I have Whisperer, and then I also have Reaper. We do have a 3rd slot on there. I usually just label that as test if I don't have anything else in there, so I can kind of go and monkey around with that without screwing up the other 2. For the pets, you'll have to go up and tap on one of the 3 slots up there inside the battle section, and then you'll see it pop up in the middle of the screen. For these, I would label them based by what your pet build is. So I have skill damage, I have my reductions, and then I have my pet damage. Maybe for you, that might be something like global percentages or even DOTs. But whatever it is that you're using, try to go and label it. We'll explain in a little bit of why we want to keep these things kind of group and categorize so we can know what to use later on. For the legacies, I kind of just label mine based what I'm kind of building around. So I have skill, I have combo, maybe for you it might be counter or even something like crit. Once again, I have that 3rd slot open, so I'm just labeling that as test. For the adventurers, I just label pretty much whatever adventurer you're using. And for the mounts and artifacts, I would just label those as something like skill, dagger, combo, whatever you're kind of building around in those 2. Now, the reason why we just labeled these all as kind of their categories is now we can actually go and select groups when we go into things like the guild battle, the arena, the seal boss. Not so much the chapter on this, haven't found a spot for that yet, but even things like the dungeon dive, you'll notice that little icon under there where we can go and select one of the presets. Now for the groups, we can go and label those also, and I'd say label them as you see here, minus the chapter one because there's no way to actually select that right now, but I only imagine as time goes on, we'll be seeing one on our home screen, so we could simply go in there and have our things set how we want. We want to name these different groups for the Abyss, the Dungeon Dive, the Seal Battle, the Guild Boss, and PvP. I guess you could do Arena and then the Guild Battle different, but good chance you're going to be using the same thing. And then for each one of these, you can see that we can now go in and select those categories we named at first and put them inside this group. If you do like what you're using already and just want to go and add that all to the group, you can go just sync with main quest and that'll all get added. So now we have our category set and our group set, let's talk about a couple of things you should know by doing this. The first one being, if you're not in that top 10%, there's a good chance you're going to be moving things around like levels on your gear or even moving some of your legacy books around. The other thing is using these categories. If you find yourself switching between one weapon to the other, you're going to lose that level 100. It's going to be sitting down in the bottom there. So you'll probably need to go equip it, equip the other one back on, and transfer the levels that way. And now that we have all these gems out there, you'll probably find that you have to remove them all, go to that weapon, do a Divine Forge revert, and then go and transfer all the gear over that way. So it can be a little bit tricky and time consuming. And as much as that might be a pain in the butt, this is still technically faster than doing it the other way around. One last thing to keep in mind is if you do have your category equipped and you go and switch something in there, well, now that's going to change every single one of those presets that you had. So this is where I really recommend you use that test section or the 3rd one there to kind of go and build in there, make your tweaks, see what works. And when you find something you like, then go over to one of the top 2 categories and make the change in there. I'm sure as the game goes on, there'll be easier ways to use this, but for right now, I think this is the best way. Set your category names, get your stuff in there, throw some test in it, and then go and make your groups and slot things how you want. But if you want to know what I think of the new hero Gagarin, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.